How's it going, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be answering, I'm going to be answering questions that you guys had given me. I made a community post, and if you have more questions, comment them down below. So I am an Inquirer into Orthodoxy, and you guys gave me some questions. Okay, first question by Orthodox Jeremiah. Who is to be your patron saint? So I'm not baptized in the church yet, so I haven't chosen my patron saint. However, I'm gonna say that I've been reading into looking into the life of Saint George the Martyr, and man, to have the courage that he had to be able to he's this high-ranking officer, and he openly defied the emperor. Was it Diocletian? I don't remember exactly which one it was, but he went to the town, ripped up the paper that was, you have to worship these gods, and he wasn't afraid of his faith. He wasn't afraid to, go share his faith, and that inspires me because, there's a lot of times where it can be nerve-wracking to share my faith to someone. So yeah, Saint George, but also Saint Paisios. I sometimes have that where I just desire that solitude that he craved, but I love how he sacrificed what he wanted to help others, which I admire that a lot about him. And he's a modern saint, which it's super interesting to me. It's super cool. And next question is by Dre Hood. Did you check out other denominations before choosing Eastern Orthodoxy? What are some points of differences that caught your mind, and why do you think Eastern Orthodox positions are the correct one? So I grew up going to an Anglican church, which between Protestant, it's Protestant, but between a Baptist church, which I've been going to, and Eastern Orthodoxy, it's about halfway. And I'm not 100% sure what they believe in the body and blood of Christ. They do believe in baptism. I don't know if they believe it's part of salvation, I'm not sure. But a lot of the things are similar, which I do like. There's a lot of things I do like. They have, the garments and everything. They have a lot of the traditions. They sometimes would have an icon on a wall or something like that. But the main thing that between Protestantism and Eastern Orthodoxy is the apostolic succession, where I can go and to my priest and I can trace him back to the disciples. Whereas in the Anglican church, a lot of their traditions are similar, but it is at the end of the day Protestant, meaning you can't trace it back because it's a new church. So another question that's kind of similar by Phil 7529. I need to be part of Christ Church, but I'm struggling to figure out if I should go to Eastern Orthodox Church or Catholic Church. What made you choose Eastern Orthodox instead of Catholicism? That's a good question. I'm still kind of looking into why not Catholicism. I believe Eastern Orthodox is the correct church, and so far, here's why. And don't be offended, my Catholic brothers and sisters, but I disagree with having one centered authority because, it's like a government. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but government, you have the president, but you have people to correct them, to check and balance them. Whereas in Eastern Orthodoxy, the bishops, all these people, it's not like, you have one person above everyone else. It's like a council, which I 100% agree with because it, divides that power up. It's not one person making the decisions. And maybe Catholicism has something like that. I have to look into that more, and I've been looking into a little bit, but also I know Catholics hold the Pope to an extremely high level as being, the person after Peter, right? And then that person after that person. But if he's being held to such a high level, why, historically has there been so many scandals with the popes where they've disagreed with each other on things. They've had things that, if they're held to this high level, why are they being involved in these scandals, right? It just doesn't, for me, if they're being held to such a high level, if they're such as, obviously they are fallible, they're humans, but if they're being held to this level, I feel like they should be up to that level, if that makes sense, with their works. But that's my take. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was religion a big part of your life, or did you become increasingly interested in time as went by? That question's by Game Fan. Love that guy. He always comments. Shout out to you. Oh, religion was always a part of my life. I grew up going to that Anglican church, but it was never a big part of my life until age 15, I guess I could say. Yeah, I'd say about age 15 is when I became more serious about it. And I think that's a lot of people who grow up in the church, because you grow up, obviously, you got to go to church because your parents do. But part of it is making the decision for yourself. If you never, make that decision for yourself, and you just believe it because your parents believe it, you're not going to understand it. You're not going to care about it so much. You have to figure it out for yourself too. I think that's something that, one of the reasons I'm actually kind of happy I didn't grow up Eastern Orthodox. I mean, obviously it'd be cool, but like now I'm figuring it out for myself. Like I'm pursuing it for myself, if that makes sense. I'm not, growing up into it and not understanding why, but I'm seeking after it on my own choice rather than my parents. So I think that's something that's I really am thankful for. Barbara Hill asks, who is your favorite saints? Kind of answered this earlier. St. George, St. Paisios. There's so many saints. Like, I encourage you guys to go look into the lives of the saints. These people who, most normal people could not withstand the same temptations that they did. It's crazy, I believe it was St. Anthony. I could be wrong, okay? So don't get on me about it, but I believe it was St. Anthony he was young and he went into the desert and he had his friend bring him food and stuff, but he was just praying all the time, and he had all these temptations, all these demons tempting him, and eventually he got, attacked physically because he was withstanding the temptation. And man, and even then he still, Jesus healed him. So many crazy stories, and it's, the Bible tells us that the prayers of a righteous man, availeth much. I believe that's what it is. I could be wrong. Don't remember where it's from. But, why not pray to these people? Why not pray for the guidance from the saints? Because, they can guide us. They help us. There's so many stories of people who, they pray to the saint, and the saint intercedes for them. The saint helps them, Our God is the God of the living. And these people are still alive in heaven. So, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. If you want to hear about seeing more Orthodox content, please subscribe, like the video. Join me on my journey. Maybe you're on the same journey. And thank you guys so much for 12,000 views on the last video. 12,000. That's insane. That's literally insane. I've never had that much on a video. Didn't expect that much whatsoever. Glory to God. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And see you guys in the next one. Peace out.